Now that we've created the methods that we need in our participant interact interface and in the interact objects, let's find the end of the condition in our instruction set within the backend. And let's put these to use. Okay, so the first thing, now that we are accepting the transaction, the first thing that will happen is that the buyer will pay. So buyer will pay the price. And then we're going to let all of our participants know that a payment has occurred. We're going to report the payment. We're using each once more. In this case, we're using reach from a consensus step, whereas in the first we used each from our a step. And so you see this in use, how each is able to help participants go into their local step from either a consensus step or a step. Okay, commit the information. And then seller will have the opportunity to share their wisdom. So seller's been paid, it's time for seller to act. Okay, so report that wisdom, and let's get our semicolons in there. And so seller has interacted and declassified their wisdom, and so now we need them to publish the information so that it's available on the blockchain. I could imagine an app like this being helpful for advice, and once you put the advice out there, once the seller sells that a bit of advice, it's out there in the blockchain and anyone could read it after that. And so you would need the very best gurus who have consistently the best information or the best wisdom to share, and they would be rewarded, whereas those who try to be lazy and use defaults are very quickly going to be weeded out as low quality. Okay, and so then we'll report that wisdom. The buyer will interact with the report wisdom. Excellent. And so that will run. One more thing that we want to add is the ability to report a transfer. And this is a courtesy to our buyer and our seller that, hey, the transfer has occurred. So let's add that as well. So we'll go to our front end, we'll start there, and we'll find our common interact. And let's add a report transfer. We'll add this one at the top above report cancellation. So we'll report transfer. And report transfer is going to look very much like a report payment. So this is going to take in an integer as an input and have no output. And again, it'll be a console.log message. And this is just to say, hey, there's been a payment. And we'll set up our units of measurement. And say who it's been paid to. So let's add that in. Or the seller. So we'll set up our different conditions for who is making the payment. I got an extra squiggly bracket in there. There we go. Clear that out. And let's see, we're missing a comma here. And looks like I've got a little bug in there somewhere. So let's hunt this down. Yep, missing there is the angle bracket. There we go. So there's one little thing, and all the red goes away. So we're good. Okay, so now that we've added a report transfer in the front end, we'll need to add this in the back end. So same thing in our common interact. So we'll report a transfer here. And again, this is a function that takes in an integer and has no output. Okay, be sure to add our comma at the end so report cancellation can be read. And now we can make advantage of this. So report transfer. To use report transfer, we're going to need to first commit this information. So we'll need to commit that the interaction. Okay. Find my keys. And now that we've committed the information, now we can put our participants through an each statement. Okay, now that we have added report transfer to our backend and our front end, we can add this into our instructions in our front end, or in our backend, excuse me, in our DApp. And so after this commit, we'll add another each statement that'll allow each of our participants to see that a transfer has occurred. And then we can report that wisdom with confidence that the seller has been paid. There we go. And take in price as an input. Get our semicolon in there. And that's that. Okay, so let's run it. Clear that out, clear that out. Okay, so we've done everything that we need to do. Let's hop into our terminal here and let's give our program a run. So reach run index seller on the left side, and while that's going, I'll get a reach run index buyer going on over here. Reach run index buyer, let that run. All right, so we're compiling. And this should only take a few seconds. Okay, so we're the seller, enter a wise phrase. We already did the default, so let's say keep on building. All right. And your balance is 1,000 algos. The wisdom is for sale for 5 algos. And let's grab that contract information. We'll paste it in for the buyer. Buyer has a balance of 1,000 algos. And do you want to purchase this wisdom? Yes, we do. We paid 5 algo to the contract. And the contract paid 5 algo. So here's report payment. Here's report transfer. Here's report wisdom. Keep on building. And then here's our show balance. So we can see all of our methods in action. Ain't that cool? And then on the seller side, we've got the contract paid 5 algo. So here again is the report payment. No, excuse me. This is report transfer. And buyer paid 5 algo is report payment. And then your balance is show balance. And so we see those each statements working for our seller and our buyer. All right, fantastic. Join me in the next step. We're almost done.